Hi, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV or every time we do an update to a story that we previously covered on SouFLoTV. Let's get into this one. People are asking, SouFlo, what happened to the Clansman Wandan gang trial? You were following it for a while and then we didn't hear any conclusion. Is it still going on? If so, please fill us in on the details. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is almost at an end. And at an end, meaning we follow the whole thing through from day one in the courtroom all the way through to who got found guilty versus who is let go, and we also follow it all the way through to sentencing. Once those sentences are handed down, we consider that to be the end, unless there is some appeal going on and further fight in the courtroom. See? Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica's Supreme Court convicted well-known crime boss on Tuesday in a landmark trial, marking a win for the Caribbean island recently reformed anti-gang laws. Andre Blackman Bryan, the person who a lot of people call the boogeyman, Andre Blackman Bryan, he was found guilty of leading the gang, the Wandan gang, faction of the Clansman gang, which persecuted a community on the outskirts of Kingston, Jamaica's capital. Andre Blackman Bryan has also been found guilty of facilitating several murders. The conviction is a victory for the government's crime-fighting efforts. This is according to senior police officials. The ruling follows a series of judicial reforms aimed at reining in rampant gang violence. Andre Blackman Bryan got found guilty on several counts of murder, as well as facilitating murders, as well as him being the person who actually committed some of these murders. This is a win for law enforcement, a win for the criminal justice system, and a win for Jamaica. These are not my words. This is what Fitz Bailey, who is the Deputy Police Commissioner for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, said. A lawyer for Andre Blackman Bryan has not been answering any questions of lately. People have been trying to contact his attorneys to find out what's the next move. Are you guys going to appeal? What how the outcome look for you and all these things, and they're not answering any of those calls. So police statistics shows that gang activity accounts for 70% or so of the murders in the country of Jamaica. Just under 3 million people there. 70% of the murders. So if obviously it is in Jamaica's best interest to find a way to do away with these gang activity murders. It accounts for 70% of the murders in the island according to statistics. Jamaica has one of the highest homicide rates in the region and is also considered a major transit point for drug smuggling, amongst other things, human trafficking, etc., etc. Dozens of other defendants are also on trial alongside Andre Blackman Bryan, part of a 25-count indictment that was made up of charges including arson and murder. Some of the defendants, all of whom pleaded not guilty. Every man that went up there pled not guilty. Some of them are still awaiting a verdict. 5 others have been released due to insufficient evidence since the trial began in 2021, while another suspect was killed after he was released. He was gunned down in the streets. Bryan is now awaiting sentencing, although the maximum jail term that he is facing is not yet immediately clear. I would say, on account of multiple murders, being found guilty, not only of committing but also facilitating some of these murders and leading an organization of crime, we should be looking at about a life in prison. Yeah. But this is Jamaica. And we've seen where people have done gross things and they've been given very little time, much to the alarm of the public. But Jamaica justice system doesn't care about what the public thinks. They hand down sentences willy-nilly, wishy-washy, and very, I don't even know what word to use to explain it, right? Recent judicial reforms allows the judge to convict defendants based on a wider range of offenses, which could increase the length of prison sentences. So in short, we'll have to wait until his sentencing to see what is happening there. I also did a story on the lone female who was also involved in this. She was affectionately known to many as Muma Christie, but she was also Pastor Christie to others. She was the lone female involved. Her too was found guilty. She was not found guilty of any murder, but she was found guilty of being a part of the organization, of being a gangster. We don't know how many years that carry, but I don't think it's going to be a lot for Muma Christie, given the fact that they weren't able to pin any murders to her, even though their star witnesses said she played a major role in a couple of murders. Right, orchestrating the murder, spinning the block to see, make sure police is not in the area, selecting a getaway route for the killers, and all these kind of things. Yes, very much a part of. However, that was not proven in court, therefore it was not held against Muma Christie. So we don't know what she's going to get in our article. That article was actually printed in Reuters in the United States of America, and another one in England. And this one from England that followed the case as well says that 15 people have been convicted on charges ranging from gang membership and gun possession to murder in a landmark gang-busting trial hailed by Jamaican authorities as a major blow to one of the island's deadliest criminal organization, which is the Clansman Wandan gang. I know right now everybody is like, "Cha, them man they gone to prison. That no mean nothing. Them man they still a call shots from prison. Them still a run them turf and territory. Them still have soldiers on the ground. And if for them thing get lock off, then there's somebody else right now who is going to step up and take over that and still keep the same thing going. So nothing no change." Anyhow, we know now so far that 15 of the 33 have been convicted. 12 other defendants were acquitted, and the case against 5 others were not pursued. Wanna hear the number breakdown? But the police and the prosecutors described the verdict this week as historic. 1 defendant was murdered while they were out on bail, which I told you about already. Now, this is a win for law enforcement. This is a win for the criminal justice system of Jamaica. And this is a win for Jamaica on a whole. This was Fitz Bailey, Deputy Police Commissioner of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They are very high in spirit. They feel like they've won something. They took 33 people to trial. They got 15 of them convicted, mostly on murder charges and arson charges, so on and so forth. The marathon trial is what this is called. And when we started following this first, we said that this would be the longest running trial in Jamaica's judicial history. This is called the marathon trial. This trial lasted a year and a half. He said that it's a victory for the government of the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, which passed a series of judicial reforms that were aimed at reining in gang violence. So this is one that they're going to put under this Prime Minister's Andrew Holness's legacy. What did he do great while he was our prime minister? Well, he put a major dent in crime by taking to task and taking to court and dragging them through the judicial system, the longest trial in Jamaica's judicial history. 33 alleged gangsters and got 15 convictions out of it, which all should be carrying some hefty sentences. Well, apart from Muma Christie, because all she got found guilty of was being a member. Jamaica currently has a murder rate of more than 40 per 100,000, one of the highest globally. And gang violence accounts for, like I said before, 70% of the killings on the island. The trial was marked by drama, intrigue, suspense, and blood-curdling testimony that read like a well-scripted Netflix series, all of which we followed here on SouFLoTV. I mean, some of these testimonies had me gripping my seat as I was reading through them, and I delivered them to you, and I said, no man, somebody have to go turn this into a movie. I am imploring the people who are involved in film and the film industry in Jamaica to make the proper moves and capitalize off of this. Film it properly, put it together properly, shop it to Netflix as a series, and you're bound to win. Even if Netflix doesn't pick it up, you're still bound to win, because this sell off. This is a well-written novel turned into a movie, and the most intriguing part about this is it's real. It also featured a combative judge, Chief Justice Bryan Sykes, who criticized the police and prosecutors for evidence-gathering blunders, revelations of police and army co-conspirators, and defendants with ghoulish, ghost-like or cartoonish aliases like Squeeze Eye, City Puss, Maga Man, and Sickhead, among other names. But you know how the thing go already. That's Jamaica for you, and it's a cultural thing. Your friend them with the eyes them and him look kinda like say him daddy might be Chinese, you just call him Chinaman. Your brethren with too dark skin, you call him Blacker. Just like in this particular case, Blackman. Because Andre Bryan is his real name, but them call him Blackman, obviously, because he is really dark skinned. Right? But hear what? All these names made it even more intriguing. It's like somebody must have made this up. This can't be real. If it is so entertaining to us, not to say we enjoy this entertainment, but if we found it entertaining, you could imagine how people outside of the culture who don't understand how we come up with names like Squeezy Eye and City Puss and Maga Dog or Maga Man and Skinny and Sickhead and these names. Now you must remember, Chief Justice Bryan Sykes did his job. And all along throughout the trial, there were a lot of people. Because you know, Jamaica is, majority of Jamaicans are not criminals. Majority of Jamaicans are law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. Yeah? You have your 1 and 2 who are criminals, yes, and then you have a small fraction that support those criminals. But for the most part, majority of the people are not into that. They wish that this curse could leave their island so we could get back to being the Irie place. Irie, the one love place. But things have taken a turn where it seems like we will never go back in that direction of peace, love, and harmony again until some drastic changes are made. However, at a fundamental level, back to this. Chief Justice Bryan Sykes. What can I say? He did his best. Chief Justice Bryan Sykes demanded proof. He demanded tangible proof. He was not willing to accept only hearsay. And that's the reason why out of 33, only 15 were convicted. Because if that judge, was only going to go off of hearsay with no other proof, or he was only going to go off circumstantial evidence without facts, without hard evidence like DNA, like videotape, like voice recordings that can be verified, he probably would have gotten everybody in the whole crew. And a lot of Jamaicans are mad with him. A lot of Jamaicans are saying, move on, go ahead. That judge there, then pay him off. Other people are saying, that judge there, him related to Andre Blackman Bryan. Go do the background check. A cousin them. That judge there, a criminal. Other people were saying, I think that judge is just scared. And he's scared for his family and whatever. Well, I maintained throughout the entire course of this case that that judge was merely doing his job, and he was trying to do it to the best of his ability. I remember one particular time when Chief Justice Brian Sykes said, come on now, man, this is not like back in the day. We are in modern times, and there are means available to you guys to actually gather evidence in a proper manner and present it. You can't just come to me and just tell me, say, man dead over there, so, and you don't have a picture of the body, you don't have any record of the body going to a morgue, you don't have any record of this person's existence or this person leaving the face of the earth, and I'm supposed to just run with that? I can't. And even him breaking down that logically, a lot of Jamaicans still didn't want to hear it. What they wanted to hear was guilty, 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 33 times. They didn't care about evidence. And some of them, you can't even blame them because they're just so fed up with the violence that's going on in the country. It's quite frightening for most citizens, So they just wanted to throw anybody under the bus. But unfortunately, at the same time, that is not how the justice system works. Mind you, this was a trial that was by judge only. You can go a trial by judge or a trial by jury. This was a trial by judge only, so it was up to the judge to hear everything, to suss out all this information, to pick the sense out of the nonsense, to demand accountability, and to make the proper findings. And I think the judge did just that. The case emerged from strife that splintered the Clansman criminal empire, which has for decades terrorized Spanish Town, former capital of Jamaica, is what is said. Andre Blackman Bryan was found guilty of 6 murders, and he was named as the leader of the Clansman Wandan gang faction, responsible for calling the order for other murders as well. Now, being found guilty of 6 murders, you could imagine when sentencing time comes, what his sentencing might look like. But like I said before, this is Jamaica, so you never know. Andre Blackman Bryan cut a teary-eyed and diminished figure at the trial's end. The man was crying, according to reports. Now, I don't know if he was. I wasn't there, so I don't want anybody saying, listen to SouFLo, I try and make the Don look like same soft or something. I'm telling you right now, I wasn't there. This is not my words. This is as it was printed in the British newspaper. This is as it was printed in the Jamaica news as well. That he started to cry at the end of the trial after being handed all those guilties. Because all along he said he's coming out. And he knows he's coming out. And nobody now snitch for nobody in there. So it shouldn't be a reason for him to stay in there with back to back guilty murders, guilty on murder. You start to feel like, damn, they're gonna lock me in there like cartel. A stark contrast to the testimony of one former gangster who described him as a despotic leader who laughed hysterically while recounting a murder as if he fed off of that negative energy. And he loved to see blood and guts and gore, and he was that kind of a person. There was one point in the trial where they said that the bodies of a couple, male and female, were shown. They were burnt to a crisp, and they showed it on the big screen in the courtroom, and that Andre Blackman Bryan laughed so hysterically that other of the so-called gangsters or alleged gangsters, his co-defendants, they started laughing as well. And the judge got so upset that the judge had to call a break in the trial. So you went from all that laughing after seeing, and allegedly the mother of the victims were also present in the courtroom. So you can imagine the mother in the courtroom. Here is a man who you're saying that say him kill your son, and then he laughs hysterically seeing your son's burnt body. Right? Now when it comes to his turn now to be found guilty, tears are running out of his eyes. But the case might have collapsed before coming to trial when a protected witness, one of the two former associates who testified against Bryant, grew increasingly depressed and fearful for his life. That witness, whose identity was protected by a publication ban, became increasingly anxious in a state protection program. He was moved across the Caribbean several times, and he testified in court via electronic means. FaceTime. So nobody never know which part him there. He could be in Antigua, he could be in Guyana, he could be in Trinidad, he could be in Grenada, he could be anywhere. He could even be in the USA, in Alaska, in a mountain, for all we know. He said, truly, I'm depressed and I'm stressed out, and it's like I have no one to talk to. I have no friends or family, and the person they told me to get to in case of an emergency doesn't answer when I'm calling or return a call. I asked to go home because I'm not happy and I want to come off of this program, and nothing. He said in an interview on the 23rd of May 2021, 4 months before the trial started. The man said he wanted to come out of the program and go back to him yard because they're not treating him right in the witness protection program, and he don't even trust them because numbers he was given, point of contact to call in case of emergency, he might call, nobody now answer. I'm afraid. So I better me come out and walk street and take my chances. A lot of people were saying, boy, on a ton big witness, on must not care about on family members, your mother, father, granny, sister, brother, auntie, cousin, because we have a thing in Jamaica with name, you can't catch Quaco, you catch him shot. The National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, described the efforts to keep the former gangsters in witness protection as a constant battle because he wanted to get out. Witness protection is difficult. Gang cases take long. To pull them together takes an enormous amount of police work, said Chang. The other gangsters turned witness is said to be in good spirits, but that one wasn't. Police and prosecutors had initially sought to prosecute 53 Clansman Wandan gang members, but only 33 were eventually brought to trial, and of the 33, 15 were convicted. Chang praised the island's chief prosecutor Paula Llewellyn and Bailey for seeing the case through to the end, and Paula Llewellyn described the logistical management and witness care as very challenging on occasions. The DPP praised her team for 4 or 5 prosecutors for painstaking collaborations with the police on the ground, and she had special commendation for the 2 ex-gangsters who turned on the mob, with one of them literally walking into the police station to offer his testimony. The witness gave police a rare opportunity to infiltrate Jamaica's notoriously tight-knit, well-organized gang. But it remains unclear if such a move can be replicated again in other crime factions. As much as they consorted with these guys, Jamaica will owe them a great debt of gratitude, says Paula Llewellyn. I remember one of the man them say, him only testify because he wanted to see a better Jamaica. A lot of people says, I don't buy that. I think you wanted to save yourself. But we will take that one for now, right? We're going to leave it at that one. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm out. Peace.